Good afternoon, friends, family, support team. How is everybody doing? I hope this message finds you well. Realized the other day that last time I'd sent you guys a message was pre-move. We have moved successfully. Everybody has made it and is still alive. We've been here about 2 months in our single-family home here in Silver Spring, still renting, but it's a great fit for us, and we've finally kind of gotten settled from that whole transition. But wanted to send you guys a quick update on what's been going on at Restore, what's been going on with our student ministry, and then where we're going and where we need some prayer, moving forward. So, for our student ministry over the last couple of months, we've been meeting on Tuesday nights and Friday nights. Tuesday night was game night. Friday night was more traditional youth group night. Tuesday nights, we have said sayonara to Tuesday night game nights. Students are back in school. Students are picking up fall or summer schedules, baseball, cross country, swim, dance, drama, you name it. Kids are starting to pick all that stuff up and hang out with their friends again, which is great. So, we sensed that the need for Tuesday night game night had decreased, and kind of took that off the fall schedule. We are still meeting on Friday nights. We're talking about the fruit of the Spirit, which has been really, really good. It's kind of a common ground where a lot of our churched kids that have grown up learning that in children's church, I guess they call it children's church, our children's ministry, a lot of those kids are able to understand and kind of take their knowledge to a deeper level. And a lot of the kids that are not church, that are coming because friends invited them, they were able to understand and kind of grasp it from a concept of what does it look like to have peace in the middle of a pandemic? What's it look like to be patient or kind or gentle or have joy in a pandemic? So it's been really good to see those kids kind of grab onto these concepts and understand, connecting it back to our previous series on prayer and meditation with the spiritual disciplines. The more time we spend with someone, the more we become like them. That's true of all of us. I use the example of my parents, and the more time I spend with my parents, obviously spent 20 some odd years growing up with them, and then even still now, the more I hang out with them, I'll catch myself saying something. I'll be like, okay, Tom, take it easy. Or I'll do something and be like, oh, that was a Karen move right there. So there's a lot of times where I catch myself acting like my parents, and that's because I spent so much time around them growing up and I love them. So the same is true of God. The more time we spend with God and His Spirit, the more we become like Him. So, and the students have kind of latched onto that analogy, and oh yeah, the more time I spend with my friends or family or parents or whomever, I find myself talking like them and acting like them. And so the students have kind of been able to latch onto that. Now, whether they put that into practice and discipline, wow, okay, it is storming here right now. I might lose power at some point. So if it gets dark, the light is right above you. So if it goes out, that's what happened. Anyway, so that's kind of what we've been doing with youth group. We've met in person twice, about to be 3 times. We did a socially distanced game night / movie night here in our backyard. We've done socially distanced kayaking, which I don't know how you don't do socially distanced kayaking unless you fit like 10 people in a kayak. But we did socially distanced kayaking. And then we're going to have our fall kickoff tomorrow night, which will probably be more socially distanced games, and then a backyard movie, weather permitting, if we don't have more torrential rainstorms. So that's what we're doing with student ministry. With City of Refuge, kind of the other portion of my job, helping Lanice, their pastor, kind of aid and care for these people. We're still helping with food aid. We're still getting gift cards every now and then as needed. I rounded up a bunch of our youth, and we went on a shopping spree at Target to actually buy approximately 50, I think it was 48 backpacks, all filled with school supplies. It was quite the shopping spree. I think the students really enjoyed it. They felt like, oh man, this is awesome. So we were just throwing all a bunch of stuff, 50 of everything, into these into these carts, and then we went out in the parking lot and filled them all up. So we had 48 backpacks filled with, colored pencils, composition notebooks, folders, masks, hand sanitizer, headphones with mics, you name it, rulers, anything that these students were going to need for school this fall, we put them in there. Because a lot of these immigrant and refugee families are having to decide between paying rent or school supplies, or food and school supplies, or enough food and school supplies. So Restore really sensed that need. We talked to Lenise and said, hey, is this something that we can help with that would alleviate some of this burden of these families? And she said, yes, absolutely. So rounded up the squad, went to Target, made it happen. And as of yesterday, when I talked to Lenise, there's only 9 backpacks left. So we've handed out 39 backpacks, which is wild. It's been amazing to see God move, and such a blessing for God to use Restore as a vessel to help these families in their quest for education and for their lives here in America. So it's been a blessing not only to see the students come around them, but our church and then even the community that we live in help these people out. So that's what we're up to. It's been a busy couple months. What we're praying for and what we need you guys to pray for really are a couple things. First, the future, which it's hard to know what to pray for in the future because it's so hazy. We don't know what next week's going to look like. We don't know what a month from now is going to look like, 2 months from now. Although 2 months from now, I'm pretty sure we'll have a baby. But at that point, all bets are off in terms of student ministry planning. So pray for us, pray for affirmation. We're really looking to sense God's direction in terms of where we want to go. We have big plans. We would love to do a retreat in January. We would love to launch small groups out of that because we feel like discipleship happens best out of small groups and teaching these students how to live like Jesus, and that living and following Jesus is a better way of living than the alternative. So we have big plans for that stuff. So we're just looking for affirmation, looking for the right doors to open, looking for more volunteers, looking for locations to be right, for the conditions pandemic wise to be right. So we're just praying for a lot of things in that regard. So if you guys could pray for that, that would be extremely helpful. And our incredible, committed, faithful volunteers, Colleen and Elijah, we met with them a few weeks ago, and we kind of had a brainstorming session on what we wanted and to things to look like, and we kind of left unresolved because we had these ideas, but it's so hard to nail things down moving into the future. So pray for that, pray for us, pray for our volunteers, that just we would really sense God's movement and that we would be obedient to follow. Pray for Andrea and I. Obviously, I mentioned this pregnancy. We're hitting the home stretch, 32 weeks on Monday, 33 weeks this coming Monday. We're getting there, and I think she is over it. But she's been amazing, and she is the strongest person I know, and I'm proud of her. And just pray for us that she would continue to be strong, that she would just keep moving toward the finish line, that she would feel good, that she would feel confident and strong. Pray that I would be the support that she needs me to be. Also, the pandemic is taking its toll on us. Every day is starting to feel a little bit like Groundhog Day. She's in and out of patients all day. I'm with Bennett a lot of days, and I'm trying to pick my spots and times and when to do work, like right now. So just pray for patience for us, pray for understanding, pray for teamwork, because that's hard sometimes when you're trying to work together or trying to do your own individual things, and you have Bennett who's just running around causing mayhem. So he's great, and he'll be 2 in December, which is crazy, but he's doing well. And so just pray for us and for patience for us, that we would be the parents that he needs us to be, and that we would just continue to have patience and love for each other. I start seminary in 2 weeks, which is wild. Pray for me. I'm going to start getting books here shortly, getting into my classes, reading syllabi, all that stuff. So excited to see what God has for me in this season. So pray for seminary for myself. And last but not least, we're praying for more support. Obviously, with another baby, going to seminary, these things are not cheap. And this is my full-time job, helping this community, City of Protection, and these immigrants and refugees, and then working and discipling these students. So if you believe in what Andrea and I are doing, please support us. I know many, if not all of you, already pray for us, which is amazing, and that's great, and that is enough. But we also have to pay bills, and we have to, pay for diapers and seminary classes and all this stuff. So if you believe in what we're doing and want to financially support us, if you don't already, you can go to www.wearerestore.com, click on the Give tab, I think on the menu on the left-hand side. It'll take you to a Pushpay page where you can enter all your information. You're not going to get emails from the church. You're not going to get spammed, except from me, obviously. And you can enter the amount that you want to give, the frequency that you want to give, one time, twice a month, once a month, whatever you feel led to give to support us in the work that we're doing here. We'd be honored and grateful. For those of you that do already support us, thank you. We are immensely grateful. As you've heard, it's allowed us to plan out discipleship paths for these students, to grow them, to lead them in these conversations. It's allowed me to take huge chunks of my day to go shopping for school supplies for families that need it. It's allowed me to feed other families. It allows me to take homeless people to lunch. I took one of the guys that attends our church. His name is Drew. I took him out to lunch a few weeks ago. I asked him where he wanted to go. He said Long John Silver's, which you could have guessed any other restaurant in the world, and I would have said yes before Long John Silver's. So really caught me off guard. But we went, and we had a good time. But your support allows me to do stuff like that. So if you feel led, please support us. I'll send the link in the email that I'm going to send. Also, what was I going to say? If you don't feel called to support us financially, that's totally fine. But what I would challenge you to do is to give something, to something that is important, that matters to you, whether it's community programs that help people in your own community, whether it's your church, whether it's to organizations that fight racial injustice, whether it's feeding and clothing the homeless, organizations like the Salvation Army. Give to those organizations and help them out. So that was what I'd ask of you. Thank you for your time. This update, I wanted it to be like 5 or 6 minutes, and it's 12. So God bless each of you. If you're listening to this, grace and peace to each of you that are listening to this. Know that I love you, and I miss you. Hopefully we'll talk to you soon. God bless.